The movie begins with the arrival of an enigmatic new inmate at a Russian penitentiary. His cellmate is perplexed when the newcomer confidently states that he won't be staying long, despite the prison being home to only those serving life sentences. The man insists that he's merely passing through. Later, two aggressive prisoners attempt to intimidate him, but soon realize that he isn't an easy target. The commotion draws the attention of Semyon Koronev, the crime boss who rules over the prison. When brought before Semyon, the young man introduces himself as Craven, a hunter of wrongdoers. Semyon scoffs at the claim, dismissing it as a myth, but his amusement quickly fades as Craven effortlessly defeats his men, using nothing but a tooth pulled from a stuffed tiger. He finishes by subduing Semyon himself before a guard intervenes. With remarkable agility, Craven overpowers the guard, scales the prison wall, and rips out the iron bars as if they were mere twigs. Outside the prison walls, he vanishes into the blizzard where an aircraft awaits him. Removing a fake tattoo, Craven reveals his true identity while the guards inside discover the real prisoner's body, realizing he had deliberately infiltrated the facility under a false identity. 16 years earlier, in New York City, brothers Sergei and Dmitry Kravinov are still grieving the loss of their mother when their estranged father unexpectedly arrives at their school. Nikolai, a notorious crime lord, treats his sons with cold detachment, callously telling them their mother was weak, which led to her demise. He further states there will be no funeral. Their car pulls up to a private hangar, where Nikolai informs them they are going on a hunting trip to Tanzania to learn what it means to be real men. Meanwhile, in Tanzania, a young girl named Calypso is learning to read tarot cards under the guidance of her grandmother. The old woman warns her that she will soon witness a tragic event and entrusts her with a mysterious potion, said to have powerful healing properties. Elsewhere, Nikolai is instructing Sergei on the philosophy that animals should fear humans, for mankind is the ultimate predator. He berates Dmitry for his perceived frailty, humiliating him before the hunting party. That night, the brothers confide in one another, discussing their father's clear favoritism towards Sergei. The next day, a businessman named Alexei approaches Nikolai during the hunt, proposing a business deal. Nikolai, unimpressed by Alexei's apparent frailty, mocks him and dismisses his offer outright. Meanwhile, Sergei and Dmitry struggle to keep up with their father's hunting group, hoping the trip will soon end. Suddenly, the legendary lion Nikolai has been tracking emerges from the brush. Sergei feels an unexplainable connection with the creature, but the moment is shattered when Nikolai fires his gun, wounding the lion and enraging it. The beast charges, sinking its teeth into Sergei's backpack and dragging him away as gunfire continues to rain down. Not far from the chaos, Calypso, wandering from her parents, hears the lion's growls and stumbles upon the injured Sergei. The boy, gravely wounded, lies motionless as a drop of the lion's blood seeps into one of his wounds. The lion, appearing wounded itself, retreats. Calypso administers a few drops of the potion to Sergei before leaving a tarot card beside him and running off. Later, Sergei is transported to a hospital, where doctors declare him dead. Yet moments later, he miraculously opens his eyes. Nikolai takes his sons to his estate in England. While there, Sergei discovers a letter from his late mother, in which she apologizes for her past choices and urges him to never become like his father. Just as he finishes reading, Nikolai announces that Dmitry will return alone to school in New York, while Sergei will remain with him to learn the ways of the criminal underworld. As a final insult, Nikolai reveals that he has had the lion's head mounted as a trophy. Enraged, Sergei retreats to his room, plotting his escape. In the dead of night, he attempts to flee but slips, falling from the second floor. To his shock, he lands unharmed, his body now more agile than ever before. Dmitry finds him and pleads for him to stay, but Sergei, feeling an inexplicable transformation within himself, insists that he must leave. Sergei stows away on a ship bound for Russia, where his newfound instincts guide him. Upon arrival, he journeys deep into the wilderness, where he and his mother once camped. Over time, he begins to test his abilities, realizing he has developed heightened senses and agility beyond that of any human. One day, while chasing a deer, he refrains from striking it down. Moments later, gunshots ring out, and he stumbles upon a pair of poachers slaughtering animals. When they threaten him, Sergei picks up a discarded knife, more than enough for him. He swiftly dispatches the first hunter and then brutally beats the second. His victory, however, is short-lived as he spots another vehicle filled with armed men passing through. He knows his work has only just begun. Over the years, Sergei becomes a feared vigilante known as Craven, hunting down criminals who harm the natural world. He carries the tarot card Calypso left him as a reminder of his past. His latest target is a smuggler named Andrei, who underestimates him. Craven ambushes Andrei's convoy, eliminating his men within moments. Andrei manages to escape in another vehicle, but Craven memorizes the license plate. This leads him to London, where he surprises Andrei in his boss's office. The crime lord is already dead, and Craven, seated in his place, crosses Andrei's name off his hit list before nailing him to the wall. Meanwhile, Calypso, now a lawyer in London, mourns the loss of a colleague killed by a crime syndicate. After the funeral, Craven approaches her, revealing the tarot card and informing her that her friend's killer, Semyon Koronev, is no more. He confesses his identity as the infamous hunter and proposes an alliance. While she seeks justice through legal means, he offers a more direct approach. Torn, Calypso hesitates, as she knows who Craven's father is and fears he may have inherited the same darkness. Showing her a list of criminals, he argues that her legal methods will never be as effective as his. He asks for her help in locating his targets, and she promises to consider it. Meanwhile, Alexei, now a formidable crime boss known as Rhino, consolidates power. He arranges a failed assassination attempt on Nikolai at Dmitri's restaurant. However, Brent, his right-hand man, presents new information. An anonymous source has uncovered Craven's true identity: Sergei Kravenov. With this revelation, Alexei enlists the aid of a mysterious figure known as the Outsider, who has hunted Craven for years. On Dmitri's birthday, Craven endures an awkward dinner with their father. Later that night, Dmitri is kidnapped. Craven gives chase, launching himself off a rooftop onto the getaway vehicle, but is ultimately overpowered. Desperate, he turns to Calypso, asking for her help in finding the kidnappers. She discovers that they are led by a man named Omar Amir and that their hideout is in Turkey. As Craven prepares to embark on a rescue mission, he is unaware that his greatest battle is yet to come, and his enemies are already closing in.